let's look at Donald. Okay. Let me read this. Okay, let me just give you an update on what's going on with immigration. Apparently, there's a group in the Senate that has come to some type of agreement. That's not the full Senate. It's just a group. And it is not an agreement that I particularly like. It would protect 1.8, 1.6 million Dreamers. That's larger than the DACA contingency because there's some people who have been brought here as children and aren't old enough or don't have to meet the requirements for whatever. But it would also pay for a lot of money in terms of the border wall. I mean, again, that's the least bad of the bad parts of this bill. Then it would also infringe upon family reunification, immigration, and implicate other aspects of immigration. That's the deal. I don't know the specifics of it. There's an argument out there Bill Scher has made that because of these court cases, the clock is not ticking on Dreamers at this moment. I don't know. I would want more insight from somebody who works directly in that field, but that's his argument. And so Democrats should be able to sort of leverage the fact that they're not under time pressure. I mean, in any negotiations, if you're not the one who's in a hurry, you're going to do better. That's just sort of the iron law of negotiations. But the Department of Homeland Security issued a statement about this. Where is this? About this potential bill that is out there. This is sort of unprecedented. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe there's precedent, but I've never heard of it. The White House does not want the Senate to come to an agreement on this bill. And I suspect it's because if the Senate does, then it goes to the House. Paul Ryan, who has always tried to pretend that he is not a fanatic, would be faced with the idea of a bill that could pass in the House, but not with exclusive Republican votes. Because the Freedom Caucus would not vote for it. And it would take about another 40 Democratic votes to come in and pass it. But it could. So the idea that Paul Ryan would stand in the way of 1.6 million people who were brought here as children from getting citizenship, I think is a little bit tough for him to handle based upon his ambitions. I know he doesn't want to be doing this. He wants to spend time with his children. Right. Okay. Who gives you? So the White House has threatened a veto of this type of bill. And I think they don't want to do this either because they want to seem draconian to their supporters. They don't want to seem extreme in a way that would motivate other voters to come out in 2018. I think that ship has sailed, but that's their calculus. So they got the Department of Homeland Security to respond to the agreement that exists within the Senate on a bill. It's not even clear that the Senate could pass this yet, but they want to stop it in its tracks. They also call it the Schumer-Rounds-Collins proposal, and I don't think Schumer has had buy-in from anything I've read yet. Now, maybe he has, but this is what they said. This is what they released. This is how psycho this administration is. The Schumer-Rounds-Collins proposal destroys the ability of the men and women from the Department of Homeland Security to remove millions of illegal aliens. They're talking about the Dreamers, it must be.
Yeah, I guess gender non-binary people can still do it.
Right, exactly. It would be the end of immigration enforcement in America and only serve to draw millions more illegal aliens with no way to remove them. This feels like it was written by like a high school student. Like a really, really wretched, horrible high school student.
Stephen Miller, is that you?
Yeah. By halting immigration enforcement for all aliens who arrive before June 2018, it ignores the lessons of 9/11 and significantly increases the risk of crime and terrorism. It's an egregious violation of the 4 compromise pillars laid out by the president's immigration reform framework. Instead of helping secure the border, as the president has repeatedly asked Congress to do, it would do the exact opposite and make our border far more open and porous. They couldn't find an editor for this? It's not only going to be porous, it's going to have holes in it. There's going to be more areas of openness, in addition to the porousness.
It's going to be aerated.
It's going to be aerated and porous. It's going to be sponge-like and porous.
Irregardless of the facts.
It would ensure a massive wave of new illegal immigration by exacerbating the pull factors caused by legal loopholes. Wow. That's also incorrect. It's not a pull factor. The legal loopholes would allow you to stay here. That's not a pull factor. It just diminishes the push factor. The reason why people come here is like, oh, I can go there because there's legal loopholes. No,
Love that.
I go there because I'm making money to pay for my family, or I'm going to have greater opportunity. By keeping chain migration intact, the amendment would expand. Incidentally, there's no such thing as chain migration. By keeping family reunification intact, the amendment would expand the total legalized population to potentially 10 million new legal aliens, simultaneously leading to undercutting the wages of American workers, threatening public safety and undermining national security. The changes proposed by the Senators Schumer, Round, Collins would effectively make the United States a sanctuary nation where ignoring the rule of law is encouraged. But it would change the law and therefore not make it necessary to ignore the rule of law. Meanwhile, as the Department of Homeland Security sends out teenage missives about criticizing legislation that has not even been adopted nor widely agreed upon in the Senate, in Austin, Texas, members of Austin, let's see, what school was this?
I think it's
Austin High School, I
yep.
guess. Staged a walkout protest in support of Dennis Rivera Sarmiento. He is an undocumented immigrant from Honduras. Here is the video that's coming from these. There has been these are students marching, and there's a petition out there for his release. Now he's being held by ICE. Petition has about 10,000 signatures. According to the petition, he had been bullied by classmates for being undocumented. He had also been admitted to 2 colleges to study computer science in the fall of 2018. God forbid we have a kid like that in this country.